Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMtrading. Today is August 2nd, 2019, and today is Friday morning. We're looking at the major economic events today. Just one major event coming out of the United States. Non-farm payroll coming out at 2:30 South African time. A lot of eye is on this as it's been a roller coaster week this past week. Now, looking at Forex markets, we're going to start out with the dollar being mixed. Okay, against the euro is much weaker, against the Japanese yen much stronger. So there's a little bit of a rotation there. We'll take a look at all the major pairs. And then looking at the Dow Jones selling off over 300 points yesterday after Trump tweets some of the economic affair that they're having with China. Okay, that's not ending, and I think he's doing it purposely. Okay, the markets are still strong, and the outlook is still very strong, and the markets are just selling off. And I wonder if it was to take it lower in order to get it higher after the non-farm payroll. Now, next, looking at the commodities, gold rallies on his tweet, oil sells off. And looking at the stocks, Microsoft is up on the day, while the bank stocks are really the ones that sold off. So it's really in response to what happened with the Fed rate decision earlier this week. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, and this is indicative of the kind of climate that we're in, Bitcoin bounces over 10,000. Okay, so it's a nice little rotation in the markets, and seems that it's just arbitrary, but it's not. But let's take a look at today's market and see what we can expect from today's trading.
This conference will now be recorded.
So we're jumping here into the Euro USD, and you can see we're just bouncing this morning just barely, okay, about 20 pips off of our lows of 10.76, but this was a major correction for the dollar and for the euro in relation to each other. And looking at the GBP USD, still very, very weak and dead on its bottoms. We're looking at a weekly chart. Let's look at a 4-hour chart, excuse me. And as you can see, 121 is where we're trading at right now. So we're really getting no bounce. It may even take it lower. Let's see what the non-farm payroll is later today to see how that actually trades. Looking at the Aussie dollar, we broke that support at 68.50-ish level. The dollar getting much stronger versus the Aussie here, as you can see. So this is something of note because we haven't been in this area. Got to look at a weekly to get back into it. So this is really, since 2015, a major correction against the Aussie dollar, and it's been so volatile, it's unbelievable. Now let's take a look at how we're trading in the longer term. Now, if it does break this area, okay, then the next real support level is 63.75. So it's really got to break it with some, just so I believe, below 67-ish level in order for it to get down there. Jumping into the commodities, let's look at gold. Gold had a little bit of a roller coaster week, okay, trading from 1430 back down to 1400, back up to 1440-ish level, back to 1437. So it's still in that range. Okay, so until we break above this 1450-ish level, I think we'll continue trading within this range. I think it's just, kind of processing this tweet war that you want to call it, okay, between President Trump and China. Now, looking at oil as well, we saw a nice sell-off there between the Fibonacci levels. You got to trade the Fibonacci levels. We've been discussing this. Let's look at it at a weekly chart just to give you that perspective, and you can see that we've been very honest to the Fibonacci level. Okay, now let's look at that. We trade up to 58.50-ish level. That was a resistance level, and then we were trading back down to support. And we're trading at support of 54.82. I like to see it bounce off of this area. Okay, to tell you the truth, it's been stable, but we are getting into hurricane season, so just be aware that we are seeing a little bit of levels being challenged here on the downside and the upside. So the great volatility for day traders, this is what we look for. And we're looking at the Dow Jones. Again, now this is what we're looking at. We're looking at a daily just to give you a perspective of what's happened over the last couple of days. Now, let's look at a 4-hour chart just to give you a closer perspective. Now, we're getting closer to a support level at this 26,395. And guess what? Today's NFP. Okay, what's the one thing that bounces the hardest on NFP on positive news? The Dow Jones. So if we do get to this level and it's positive news coming out of the United States, and I do expect it to bounce sharply. Okay, if you saw yesterday, we initially were up about 200 points before we retraced. Okay, that was indicative of these two green bars, okay, which looked like somewhat of a little bit of a bounce initially after that Fed decision on Wednesday. But again, this is the type of environment is great for scalpers. Okay, if you jump into the momentum, you could really get in and out very quickly and take advantage of those type of moves. Now, looking at Microsoft, it was the only one that was green yesterday. Okay, how ironic. Okay, had a little bit of a gap up, challenged this 140.55 ish level, did break higher, but was up in that area. So just be aware of that as that happened. Now, Apple was probably the greatest trade because it had the fill in the gap. Okay, we had a gap up and then it sold off sharply. We're trading at 207 right now. Now 230 is the high of Apple. Okay, and since it filled in the gap, I do expect it to bounce off of these areas and to continue rallying. Believe it or not, do I feel so much conviction about buying this area? Yes, I do. But the question is that if it does retrace, and may want to retrace a little bit more before it takes it higher, we might see that as well. So just be aware of that. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, we finally bounced over 10,500. Okay, now we did have a support level, as you can see, at 93.55. And we do have a resistance level at 10,500. So we really need to continue breaking higher, all right, for this to be sustainable and for this to actually show us an upwards trend. So I'm looking for that today. If we do get that breakout above the 10,700-ish level, then I think we can continue rallying into next week. This is Razak. We wish you guys a great trading day and a beautiful weekend. Thank you.